Hello Flosstube, I'm Rachel stitch.rach here on Flosstube and on Instagram. It is Saturday the 15th? That's Saturday the 15th of August and this is my YouTube channel about cross stitch. Hi everyone, sorry for my memory blank on the date there. We're in the middle of the school summer holidays and given that I work in a school and all my children are off school, kind of dates are a bit nebulous at the moment. We're kind of wandering through this world of don't know what day it is, don't know what date it is. Anyway, I am back. I got off to the start of the year at a fantastic pace, managing to record every couple of weeks or so, and then just stopped at the end of March, and that is a little bit what it's like for me. But I am back. I have a whole pile of things to show you, and I hope you can spend some time with me today talking about my cross stitch. For those of you that have never been here before, welcome. This is my Flosstube channel, which frankly is usually a little bit stop-start. I go through periods of filming loads and then a complete dearth. So I'm hoping to get back on a roll. I was doing really well at the beginning of the year. I had kind of a time that I could sit down and film, and then for various reasons to do with my children, I have 3 children, if you've never been here before, they started doing different things and that time disappeared, and then I missed one, which is always when my whole system starts crumbling. So I missed one, and I can't even really remember why. I think it was like Easter weekend and I don't know, just some stuff, we were seeing people and what have you, and I've got too much blush on that cheek. Yeah, and then I just fell off the bandwagon and then never kind of got back on it again. So hopefully I can get back into a more regular filming routine. Yeah, but that does mean I have a massive pile of things to show you and talk about today. I also had to piece this together a little bit because also in June I just fell off the wagon of recording, like as in making a record of what I'd been stitching. So I had to kind of go look at some old videos and work out what I've actually stitched since I last saw you. So it is quite a large selection of things I have to show you. Hope you're all having nice summers. If you've been here before, you know my family and I like collecting lifeboat mugs, RNLI lifeboat mugs, and if you follow me on Instagram you might have seen it yesterday. We collected our latest one. We went to Hastings and visited the lifeboat station there and got our lifeboat mug. This is their inshore lifeboat at Hastings. They don't sell all-weather mugs for their lifeboat. Sorry, they don't sell mugs for their all-weather lifeboat. That's clearly the superior mug. Anyway, I'm very happy with my inshore one. I have other inshore lifeboat mugs as well. Our rules are we can only buy a mug from a lifeboat station we have visited. So we visit a lifeboat station and our donation is a new mug for our kitchen. They are a registered charity. If you don't know anything about the RNLI, they are a registered charity and all the people that go out in lifeboats are volunteers and do it out of the goodness of their heart, which I think is pretty amazing, to be honest. And so we like to support them when we can. Right, shall I crack on? Because honestly, this pile is huge, it's huge, and I've already lost something this morning. I had it this morning, so I was digging everything out, and I have quite a few finishes since I last saw you, and I had it, I know, I saw it, and now I can't find it. So it may be in this pile of stuff and I'm just overlooking it, but as we work through the pile, we will see what happens. Right, without any further ado, have I said everything I need to say? It's quite sunny. It's been so hot and dry here. Hot and dry in Kent. I can't remember the last time it rained. It must be months. Must be months. But yeah, so hot and dry, and yeah. Okay, shall we have a look at some stitching? Let's have a look at some stitching. What have I finished since I last saw you? I have finished quite a few things. Last time I saw you, I said I was... Why does she do that? Why do you do that? And can you hear the kids as well? arguing. We're going out. Bear with me. Sorry about that. Right, we are actually going to get out of the house this afternoon because we have been invited round to some friends for a barbecue. So, you know, we will be able to get out of the house and hopefully there'll be no more arguing. Just had a word. Anyway, last time I saw you, I was doing a lot of new starts and I said that my next new start was going to be Ira May Crow by The Good Housewife? Is that who it's by? Anyway, I did start her and I've also finished her. So there she is. Isn't she fabulous? And she is there with Ida Ray Crow. Which one's Ira? Which one's Ida? Can't remember. Anyway, there they are. Thank you very much to the friend who loaned me these charts. I am super happy with them and I will have to get them finished. I think I'm going to finish them in 2 frames and then they can look at each other from their frames. So yeah, that is a plan to do. I don't know what this is on. I think this was a West Green Loft Yarns fabric from a Fabric of the Month Club, which I used to be in, and I think it was called Vanilla Bean, and I think it's 36 count. So a lot of I think's there, but that's the best I've got. And it's stitched in the called for DMC, and I think they are just fabulous. They're really quick stitches as well, but I do know the charts are incredibly hard to come by because they are out of print. But thank you to the lovely friend that lent them to me and allowed me to stitch those. So that was a finish. What else have I got in this? I've got this little bag of finishes. Then I finished, I don't know what order I finished these in, to be fair. So when I say then I finished, it's not necessarily that I finished it next. But since I last saw you, I also finished my flamingo bookmark. Don't focus on me, focus on the bookmark. I probably need to get something to put behind that so it doesn't, maybe this will do. There we go. So this was a kit. What are they called, those people that do the bookmarks? Textile Heritage. I picked this up a couple of years ago. The school I work in name their classes after birds, and I have worked in Flamingo's class, so that was why I picked that one up. So that'd be a nice little reminder of my time with them. I've just got to finish that now. I have all the finishing stuffs in here, I think. It came with them, so it's got a grey backing. I will put some into, I like to, I don't put any, I think some of the finishing instructions, sometimes you just put cardboard inside it. I don't, I just put some fairly stiff interfacing on the inside, and I find that gives it enough structure before I stitch the backing on. So yeah, I'll just pop some interfacing on. I think there's a tassel as well somewhere. Is that the tassel? I'd say that's the tassel. It's got a white tassel that you put through that there, so it'll have a tassel on it. Don't know if I'll do that or not. I've never used the tassel when I've finished a bookmark before, so we will see. So anyway, that's in the finishing bag. And what else is in this bag? And this is the last, no it's not, because as I say, there's another finish that is somewhere but I can't find it right now, but we may come across it. It's still not happening. I'm a bit mad with the blusher this morning, I don't know. If it's just the suntan, not sure. Oh, now I've got Flosstube nose. Oh, right. And then I also, since I last saw you, have finished this. This is Mushroom Meadow by Stitchy Princess Black. She is a Ukrainian designer, and I think I bought this pattern from her Etsy shop when the war in Ukraine first started, just to support Ukrainian designer. A lot of her designs remind me they're quite Owl Foresty. This kind of reminded me of Owl Forest. I did a big colour conversion on this. I'm not sure if I'm 100% happy with the colour conversion, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. What I didn't... There's some really nice little touches in this chart. Like there's a little bird here. Can you see him? And I don't think you notice it when you first look at it. You just see the mushrooms. But nearly every kind of little cluster of mushrooms has some kind of animal on it. So there's a caterpillar on that one there. This green thing. We've got that little bird I just showed you. Down here there's another like little caterpillar or worm or something. There's a snail somewhere. Where's the snail? Why can't I see the snail? Because I'm pretty sure there is one. This is what I mean. You have to find them. It's there. There, can you see it? The snail. So when you look at it, there's lots of nice little details. I haven't done anything with this yet. As I say, I did my own colour conversion on it. And I think I stitched it in fancy floss, mainly classic Colourworks, I think. And it's stitched on a piece of 32 count from Crafty Kitten Fabric, who don't trade anymore. So yeah, so that was another finish. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but very pleased to have another finish. So there's some of my finishes. As I say, there is another one. I'm hoping in here. Let's go with that. It's going to be in here. Right. So that's the finishes. Don't hold your breath for FFOs. Those of you that have been here a long time know that FFOs are not my strong point. We don't get them very often on this channel. Okay, what else have I been stitching? This is going to be in no particular order because, as I said to you, I stopped keeping any meaningful records for like June, July, start of August, like 3 months. So I don't know when I stitched on these things, but everything I'm going to show you, I have stitched on. Some of them I stitched on more recently than others. So let's hit it. I'll tell you about any fancy project bags as and when they come up. Here's the first thing in the pile. This is Teresa Kogut fabric, and this is from Penelope's Pocket. It's one of her non-vinyl fronted bags. And it's going to be, I can never remember what's in each bag. It's got a Teresa Kogut lining as well. So in this bag is from the Scarlet Letter. Why does she keep pinging? I'm not saying her name. I should just turn her off really, shouldn't I? That would be easier. Right, a needlework panel of a fruit tree with 2 animals. It is a bit of a mouthful of a title, but the pattern is absolutely fabulous. I started this was a new start this year. I think I started it in February sometime, and I'll put a picture in here of where it was when you last saw it. And I did do quite a bit on this at the beginning of the summer holiday or just at the end of term. I don't know. Anyway, I got it out and I had a bit of a gangbusters time on it. Look at that. I love this. I love the colours in it. It's absolutely fabulous. I'm really enjoying stitching it. Really enjoying those kind of chunks of colour. And I've been doing what the pattern suggests, which is outlining and then filling in. I think I've nearly got a page finished now. Let me have a look. Yeah, I'm not far off. Once I have filled in those cherries, I've basically got a page finished. So I am thrilled with that. Do I have all the colours? Probably not, but I've got a good amount of them. The colours are just, they're so fabulous. They're just really bright and jewel light. Oh, there's 2 pairs of scissors in here. Anyway, here they are. They are on my Pip and Chip bobbins, which I keep my DMCs on. These are all just the called for DMC. Is it just called for and is it just charted in DMC? Yep. Oh no, it's charted in DMC or a Versoir. These are the DMC, and I don't see how it could possibly look better even if you stitched it in silks. I'm stitching it on. Now, what am I stitching it on? I thought this was a 36 count, but I think it might be a 32 count, because look, I was a bit worried I was running out of fabric, and you see I've left a 3-inch margin, and then I was stitching and stitching going, we're getting really close to that edge, but I have now stitched all the way across just to make sure. So that is the end. So while we are lopsided, I know that I have enough to finish, to be fine. I've got enough margin. I was getting a little bit concerned. So I think it might be a 32 count. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's either 32 or 36 count. But then looking at it now, I don't... Let me get a 32 count out and a 36 count, and let's have a little compare now that I've got a load of fabric with me. So this is definitely a 32 count, this green one. And it has been dyed, so it might have shrunk a bit. Yeah, it's a 32 count, I think. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, it is a 32 count, which is why it is lopsided. And I'm doing it 2/2 on 36 count white linen. 32 count white linen, oh my lord. 32 count white linen. I'll have just yanked it out of stash and I won't have measured properly. So yes, I'm now having it looked, I think it is a 32 count, which is why it did end up lopsided, but it's all good because fortunately I'd left myself plenty of margin. I thought I was going to have a 3-inch margin on both sides, but I don't. But that means it's okay. Means it's okay. So that, I worked on that and very much enjoyed it. Okay, next up. In my last Flosstube, I talked about this was part of my WIP Go call. WIP Go has gone completely off the boil. I am my mad rotation that I was talking about at the beginning of the year. If any of you are here or remember it or even understood it, I'm not sure I understood it, which is probably why I'm not doing it anymore. Yeah, that's all gone. I'm in full-on swee-wee mode. Swee-wee, stitch what you want when you want. I'm just pulling stuff and I'm stitching on stuff and I'm not sorry because it's making me happy. So anyway, this is in a House of Stitch and Stash project bag. When I was last here, I said, oh, this is my WIP Go call that's come up. And I think what I'm about to say might cause a little bit of controversy. Sorry. I don't mean to be controversial. Anyway, let me show you what it is and then we can talk about what I'm going to say that might be a bit controversial. Have I got I haven't got a proper cover sheet, but I've got this little picture. This is Tree of Magic by Barbara Anna Designs. I bought this ages ago. I bought it in one of those Nitka Moscow tubes. And it was my New Year, New Start in 2022. And then I don't think, maybe I stitched on it a couple of days when I started it. Or maybe even just only New Year's Day. And then hadn't stitched on it, I don't think, again, since I picked it up in April. Anyway, I did do 1 or 2 sessions of stitching on it. And I'll put a picture where it was last time, if I haven't already said that. And this is where it is now. So I haven't changed anything about this. This is the kit material. I'm using the kit threads, which came in the kit. I think they're DMC. I don't like it. I don't like it. I feel it's almost like cross-stitch sacrilege to say you don't like something of Barbara Anna's. Don't like it. I quite liked it when it was that cat and the mushrooms. Thought it was alright. They are not colours I would pick. And I'm stitching them and I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like that mushroom. I don't like the colours in that mushroom. I was just stitching it and I was just like, I don't think I want to stitch this. I don't think I like it. I don't think I like it at all. So I put it away and haven't actually looked at it again until today. And I still don't like it. I don't know what to do with it. I don't think I put it on my wall. What should I do with it? What should I do with it? Maybe it should be an adopt a WIP kind of situation. I don't know. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not entirely sure why I bought it. And we'll talk about that a little bit at the end, I think, maybe, if I remember and if we have time. But yeah, I'm feeling very... And to be honest, I'm not sure I'm a Barbara Anna stitcher. I think I've stitched one Barbara Anna thing before this that I did finish. But maybe it's just not for me. Are you allowed to say that? I feel that's very controversial. And that is not to detract from anyone that loves stitching Barbara Anna, and I know so many people do, so it's absolutely not a criticism of anybody else that absolutely loves these things, but I'm not sure it's for me. So, if you have an idea of what I should do with that, or whether I should just sit on it and think about it, or whatever, let me know your thoughts about it. Yeah. So there's that. Okay, next up in this extremely fun Penelope's Pocket project. Like, how fun is that? And look how bright that is. My oldest WIP. My oldest WIP. And those of you that have been here before know what that means. That means I stitched on Kent. I think it's just called Kent. It is just called Kent, but it's from Heritage Crafts and it's part of their Britain in Stitches collection. And I think they have one of these for each county. This is my oldest WIP. I'm not sure exactly how old. Definitely over a decade. If I had to guess, I'd say probably about 12 years old. But that's a guess. And if you've been here before, you know that for years, every year I've said, this is the year I'm going to finish it. This year I did not say that. And I'm still not going to finish it this year. Like, don't get too excited. It has had some stitching, but not enough to get it done. Here is where it was last time you saw it. But I have made some meaningful progress. So I don't know if it came up in WIP Go. I don't know what prompted me. I can't remember what prompted me to pull it out. But here is where it is. So that side's not got much on, but here I have put in a few more buildings, I've backstitched some buildings, I've backstitched some rivers. Yeah, we've made some progress, and some is good enough when it comes to this project. This project just keeps getting put away, and it is faffy. Like, these buildings are faffy, there is a lot of backstitch, it's just a lot of little bitty stitching. But, you know, as I say, we are making progress. I need to, yeah, there's still a way to go. There's still a way to go. Although I will say, on this side of the county, I have put in most of the cross stitching. So that mainly just needs back stitching, whereas this side of the county I'm kind of back stitching as I go, so you know, we're getting there, and then And then you've got to put in the Invicta Kent Shield pen and the compass. So there's still quite a lot to go, but I have made progress. This is before I was keeping any meaningful records. It's on a 28 count linen, some kind of creamy. It's an off-white, it's quite cream colour. And DMC threads, so just DMC. So yeah, so it was good to get it out, and you know, it shows me that one day maybe it may be finished. So yeah, I don't know how many days I stitched on it or anything. Maybe 5, I don't know. Maybe a week. Who knows? Who knows? And who cares? Would it make that much difference to you if I could tell you how many days? It wouldn't, would it? It wouldn't. So there's that. Right, last time I saw you, I had been stitching on what's in this project bag, which is from House of Stitch and Stash. And I showed this on my last Flosstube, so it must have been a WIP Go Call or something similar. It is from the book Sewing Club by Blackbird Designs, and it is the first project in this book. It's called Rose Hips and Ivy. That's the only picture in the book, but it, you know, they made it into a drum. I'll put a picture in where it was last time. And I did a bit more on it, not loads more. Let me just move that thread. Oh, that's loose. Okay. Here's where I am. So I just did a bit more on that third vase. We're getting there on this. Nearly done on the body, but then the top of the drum is stitched as well. And I do plan to make it into a drum. So yeah, you can see on the picture that the tops, it's stitched as well. So there we go. This is almost like a WIP parade, isn't it? It's not a WIP parade. Disgracefully, there are other things that I have as works in progress that aren't actually getting shown on this, which is kind of a little insane to me. Yes, this is ridiculous. Anyway, I'll just knock the needle out. This is on a piece of 36 count hog bristle by Fox and Rabbit. And it's in all the called for weeks die works, which are there. There we go. So that's that one. I think this was a long ago Stitch Mania start. I don't know from what year, like 2020, 2021, something like that. It's quite an old WIP. Older than it should be, given how big it is. Some of these just need to get finished, really. Some of them do, particularly the not so big ones. Right, so that was that. Okay, I have another amazing Teresa Kogut Penelope Pocket project bag. This one is a vinyl fronted one. And this actually has a Teresa Kogut pattern on it. So let's have a look. It's in this book, Love Lives Here, sorry about the glare, and it's actually this one, which is called My Big Bird. Let's see if I can find the picture in the book. There's a bigger picture in the book. This one. I think this was also a Stitch Mania start one year. I'll put in a picture of where it was last time you saw it. And as you can see, had not had a lot of attention. And to be honest, still has not had a huge amount of attention. I think I got this out for, I play a stitching Monopoly game on Discord. That is the only thing I am still doing for my mad rotation. I do quite enjoy it, and it doesn't come up that often, and it's only like 500 stitches when it does, and it does make me pull out random things. So this got a Monopoly call, so I had to get it out and do some stitching on it. And we're still not a lot further forward. And there it is. So, you know, we did get something done. And I've actually got down to, can you see there's a little gap in the yellow there, which is where that, I don't know if you'll see it, this dragonfly's wing. So that was nice to finally get to like a bit of something different. I think maybe I've gone all the way to the bottom of that yellow, but maybe not, so don't hold me to that. Anyway, this is on a piece of 40 count linen that I dyed myself, hence all the manky fraying edges that, because I haven't overlocked it, because I don't have an overlocker. And I think I walnut dyed that. Anyway, I dyed it myself, and I'm stitching it in a colour conversion that someone else supplied for me. Not that it's charted in DMC, but I'm stitching it in a colour conversion. That's the lady who stitched the model, because if you look at the model you can see it's not stitched in DMC. Maybe you can't from that. If you look at the bird's head, that's probably the clearest place you can see that it's not DMC. And I contacted the model stitcher on Instagram, and she very kindly supplied me with her conversion for that model, which was very kind of her, and that's what I'm stitching in. So a little bit on that, not too much. Right, bear with me, I'm just going to pause you for a moment. Oh gosh, it is hot today. I just had a minor technical issue. I did say this is the second time I've started recording since that pause, and last time I did say, why do we apologise? Like, you don't know where we've been. I could just carry on now and it'd be fine, but I did just have a minor technical issue, so I will be refilming something I just filmed, which is always confusing because then you can't remember what you said and what you didn't say. Annoying. Anyway, minor technical issue. Right, let's show you again what I just showed you. In my next bag is the Good Ship Sampler by Hands On Design. This is like, it's like the length of a WIP parade, but it's not a WIP parade. It's a bit ludicrous. Actually, it does mean that some very iffy content that I just filmed is now consigned to the memory bin of Flosstube and will never see the light of day, which is probably just as well. I'll tell you about it in a second. Anyway, here's where it was last time, and here's where it is now. So, yeah, I've actually made some progress on this. There is no good reason for this to be hanging around. It is an old Stitch Mania start, so therefore it never got any attention, and does it have a needle in it? Which, oh no, it does. But anyway, we're cracking along. We're not halfway yet. I would say maybe we've done a third of it, but we're getting there. We are winning. This is stitched on a 40 count white linen in my own colour conversion, which is here, with a variety of different brands of fancy floss. This blue on the bottom border is actually all one thread, and I just fussy cut it so that the dark blues were in the middle and they faded out to the light blue. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. Now, what I did film in the last iteration of this, which now you won't have to sit through, is this is actually charted in a thread called Romy's Creations, which I had never heard of, and when I filmed this a few minutes ago, we googled together Romy's Creations and whether they were still in business, which must have made some very exciting content while I tapped into Google while you sat and watched me. But anyway, I can now give you the edited highlights that Romy's Creations are in fact still a business and still going. They have a Facebook page, which we found together, and an Instagram page and a Patreon. So if you're interested in, they seem to both design patterns and dye thread. They're Italian. So if you're interested in Romy's Creations or have a chart that calls for Romy's Creations, they're still there. You can go and use it. And I've given you that information without you having to sit through me Googling it, which, you know, is kind of the high quality content that I think most people come to this channel expecting. So that's that. Then I showed you what was in this project bag. This is another Penelope's Pocket project bag. It is, what do you call this? 12 Days of Christmas, thank you. Dear me. Brain, Rachel, brain. Right. This is a Bothy Threads kit. And the kit is for this like big sampler version, which is not how I have stitched them. And I just so happen from a video a few months ago to have two examples of how I'm stitching them here. So I am stitching them as individual blocks to make little pillows as ornaments for Christmas. And earlier this year I FFO'd 2 turtle doves and 3 French hens. Focus. There we go. And in the last video I told you I was going to start 4 calling birds, which I did. And there is my little start on the first of 4 calling birds. I am stitching this for reasons beknownst only to have passed me in a DMC conversion and not the kit threads. I have absolutely no idea why I did that. I have no idea why I chose to make life significantly harder for myself. I think Bothy Thread choose Madeira, Bothy Thread choose Madeira thread in their kits. I don't know why I decided to convert it to DMC. It cannot be because I was worried about the amount of thread, because this is a kit of 14 count Aida and I'm stitching them on 18 count Aida. Don't know, absolute mystery. But I've started, so I'll finish. And the backgrounds for these I am using over-dyed threads. So you can see it most clearly in this one that I've used a variegated thread from Stash in the background. I don't know what it was. Which also, I have de-kitted that. So, you know, when I come to do the next one, down here, number 9, I mean, I shouldn't panic too much because given I'm 8 years into this project or something and I'm still on number 4, suggests the pace at which I get to number 9 is not something I need to worry about for a good 2 decades or so. But I won't have a clue what I used as a background for that. I don't suppose it matters. Anyway, for the background for this one, I tried to find a variegated blue and failed, but I do have this blue in my stash and I thought I might as well use it. So it's a colour and cotton and it's called Belize. It might have some I don't even think it has slight variegation. I think it's just a solid. It's maybe some very, very slight variegation. Anyway, I didn't seem to have a variegated light blue, so I went for that. And I'm sure it will be fine. I'm sure it will be just fine. Anyway, I don't know when that's coming back out. I have no hopes that will be finished for this Christmas. But I've got 1, 2 and 3. Who knows? Who knows? So that was that. I started that. Then, the next thing here is actually a finish. So I should have done it in finishes. Or it's at least finished for now. This is the amazing Ros Clark Crafts Stitch Quilt. And the last time you saw me, I was stitching on F is for Fish. And I have finished. F is for Fish. This is a free sale that Ros has been doing. And I'm pretty sure Ros said she's taking all the free patterns down tomorrow. So if I manage to get this uploaded and you watch this, and you think, oh crikey, I want those, I think you have until basically the end of day on Sunday the 16th of August to go and try and get these for free. They're available via Ros's Instagram. She has a link to on her Instagram and you can find them there. But the premise of this sale, and I love Ros's sales, in fact I love Ros's YouTube channel, I love Ros, I love Ros's sales. They're always a bit different, they're not just, oh let's do a sale. The premise of this sale was to use up what you've got. And when she first said that, I thought, I don't have a lot of stuff to use up. And she said, when she launched it, go and have a look in your stash, you will be surprised. And I really, really was. And I tried to fully embrace the spirit of the sale. So I found in my stash all these random kind of bits of fabric that aren't, you know, you can't really do a project on them. Just cut-offs from the sides of old things. So I've been stitching on bits and bobs like this that I have in stash. And then Roz put together a colour palette for it. And I thought, but what have I got? I have this. This is my, if you've been here before, you know, thread mess. These are threads from old projects, just the leftovers that I've got. And this is what I have been using, or like from kits. So this is from a kit, right? That's from a Flower Fairies kit from years ago. And I've been using these, I mean it's such a mess, it's such a mess, to pull colours from, to do my blocks of the stitch quilt. Now I haven't got any further than F, because once I got to F, some other things took priority, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But I have got to F, and I have downloaded all the charts, and I do intend to do the full alphabet. If you miss downloading the charts for free, Roz is going to sell them in her Etsy shop. But I am, Roz, have to say, very grateful for such basically a labour intensive gift. It is extremely kind of you to put all this work that you have done for free in the public domain. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'll just run you through the ones I have done so far. I've done A is for apple. B is for bees. C is for colours. D is for dandelion. E is for earth. And F is for fish. Now, you can make these look a lot more cohesive by picking a colour palette like Roz has done for hers. But I really wanted to just go with the spirit of use up what you've got, and therefore mine are not cohesive. But I don't care, because it is literally a proper patchwork, use up what you've got scenario, and I love that. So really enjoyed doing those, and I will get back to them at some point. Just haven't been able to recently. So there's that. Right, I'm now back caught up with where I was before the technical problems. Okay, let's crack up. There's still so much to show you, honestly, and this isn't even all my stuff. It is bad. It is really bad. This isn't even a WIP parade. This is mental. Okay, here we go. The next thing is what I dropped stitch quilt for. Not dropped too harsh, but what I had to prioritise over stitch quilt. And that is, let me show you, in this book called Storybook Favourites in Cross Stitch. And I have been stitching this birth sampler. By the way, I love this book. I have stitched so many things out of this book over the years, and if this wasn't already turning into like a feature-length film, I would do a flip through this book. Maybe I'll do a flip through of this book another time, because I have stitched so many things in this book. I'll show you, in fact, I'll just saw one that I show you. I stitched this. I stitched this as all, I stitched an alphabet sampler for all my children, and I stitched this one for my son. I absolutely love it. It's so cute. It's got some great things in this book. Anyway, I've been stitching on that birth sampler because I'm not having a baby, don't worry. My sister's had a baby. My sister's had a baby. So I have a niece, and for my niece I have stitched this birth sampler. I finished it a little while ago, but obviously I couldn't put in any of the details, and now I just need to chart it and add the details. So this is, it's basically a finish, because obviously I'm not going to show you all my niece's details on camera. That would not be fair. So this is a finish for your purposes, but I do still need to just go quickly chart the name and stitch it. So I'll be excited to do that, and then that will head off to my sister. I don't mind showing it on here because she absolutely knows what she's getting. My mother stitched this exact birth sampler for all three of my children. So all three of my children have this exact birth sampler. And now my niece is going to have one as well. So she will have the same birth sampler as her cousins. So that's probably a this weekend job to get that done. Another Penelope's Pocket project bag. Right, here we go. Oh, I found that missing finish. I'm digging down here into another Penelope's Pocket bag. I can't remember what she calls these big totes. but they are perfect for fitting in project bags, and I'm just digging into it. Right, this is the other finish that I couldn't find. So it was there, it just kind of slipped down underneath and stuff. And this is my finish on Heartstring Sampleries. Sorry, the fabric's massive. Esther Cannon. There she is. This is a huge piece of fabric. Some Chromatic Alchemy, who don't trade anymore. I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I probably don't like stuff that mottled anymore. There's a big fashion for like really mottled fabric, wasn't there, a few years ago? And I feel like we go for a lot less mottling now. Anyway, it's a very mottled piece of fabric. But that is Esther Cannon, all finished. Haven't FFO'd it yet. The C and the E in her name are actually eyelets. You see? She was a really cute little stitch. Very fun. Got her done. I can't remember when I finished her. Bashed her out. It is like a blanket, this piece of fabric. What size is it? 26 by 36 inches. It's huge. It's a 32 count Belfast as well. Right. So, and that is from the book. This book, it's really cute actually. Small Samplings by Heartstring Samplers. Some really cute stuff in there. There's a really nice bird. What just beeped? Was that this camera? Don't know. I don't want it to quit on me again. Can I find the bird? This has gone on so long, this video. I'm so sorry. I'm so waffly. There. That's a cute bird. I'd like to stitch that sometime, at some point. I should de-kit this actually. I don't know why that was still in here. And I stitched it in not the called for, but some Gentle Arts Wood Smoke and some Colour and Cotton Arugula. In fact, I'm going to put all that out to put it away because it shouldn't be all in here. I'm usually good at de-kitting because I like de-kitting. I find it quite nice. Right, okay. Not much more to go, you'd be pleased to hear. Okay, another new start. So what's in this bag? This is just a very fancy Amazon project bag. This is another Scarlet Letter and it's a miscellany. That's the pattern. So my friend Crafting Kirsty showed this to me at the Hands Across the Sea Swindon retreat in October. And I was like, I love that. I love that. And she was like, oh, I think I'm going to start it for my birthday. And I was like, I'm joining you. I absolutely love it. And then my husband gave it to me for Christmas. I love the pig. I love a crocodile. But it's just fantastic. Anyway, so I started this in July for Kirsty's birthday. And this is where I am. So it's not the world's worst start, but it's not the world's best start either. It's not very exciting, is it, for you guys? I'm stitching it 1/1 with the called for DMC. It is also charged in a Versoir, but I'm just doing the DMC. And it's on 40 count parchment by Northumberland Sampler House, which I had in stash. I don't know when or why or anyway, but I had it in stash. So that's that. So happy birthday, Kirsty. I hope you've got further than me with it. Yeah, so that's that one. What else? How much more have I got to show you? I've got four more things. Okay. This in this froggy bag is something you saw last time. I put a photo of where it was. This is Seasons of the Heart Summer by the Blue Flower. I have this from when I was a member of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitch magazine. I used to get a subscription. Anyway, I won't talk to you again about the problems I have with these charts. If you want to hear about them, go and watch the last video or wait for another one where I moan about it again. I'm sure it's coming. But since you last saw it, I've got here. So not a huge amount more progress, but a bit more. It's on some fabric from Chromatic Alchemy, which is a 32 count Raven's Core, and I'm stitching it with the called for DMC. I'm just looking, sorry, because I am missing a DMC. I am missing my DMC 471. I don't know where it is, and my system's let me down. So while I'm going through it, I was just seeing if, but that's 470, it's not 471. Oh well, it'll turn up. It'll turn up. Right, so that's that. Chart. I've realised there's another project that I should have got out and I haven't. And at this point, does anyone care? You don't, do you? I'll show you some other time. There's not much to see. Right, this one. Yeah, this one. This is in another Penelope Pocket project bag, is with the needle too. This was my birthday new start a few years ago that I started with Crafting Kirsty, and last time I saw it, really pitiful. Had not paid it much attention at all, and I've like really had a really good go at it. I don't know how long for, because I stopped keeping any kind of records. But look where it is now. Eee. Actual progress, actual meaningful, wonderful progress, and it's very pretty. So I've started doing the 1/1 words, and I hate stitching 1/1, and this is on 38 count. So what I'm doing is I kind of do a thread, and then I go and do one word or one thread of the 1/1. But I think I'm doing it by the word. I'm like, I do a bit, go and do a word. Do a bit, go and do a word, which might not be how everyone wants to do it, but it means I'm getting through it. So yeah, I'm really pleased. I've got, this is the border. I've got out to the border on this side. Had another one of those. Oh, am I going to be a bit close to the edge? But no, I'm fine. I've got plenty of margin. So yeah, finally made some progress on it, Kirsty. Finally. I'm stitching it on, as I said, 38 count latte. I think this is from Foxglove and Lace Linen, who don't dye anymore, and I am stitching it in all the called for classic colourworks. It's a really pretty palette of colours. In fact, there's 2 rings of them, and it is lovely. It's so lovely. Anyway, that's that, and I've made some really good progress on it. Oh god, I've been waffling for a while here. Right, what else have we got in here? 2 more things. I brought you some knitting to talk to you about because I went on a massive knitting kick, and I just think this has been long enough, so I'm not going to show you the knitting. I'll show it you next time. It will still be there. Right, in this amazing Liberty Print Penelope's Pocket project bag is Pretty Bird. I started this last year around about my birthday. I don't think it was on my birthday. Here's where it was when you saw it last time. And I've made some pretty decent progress here. I think, again, this is from a Monopoly core. I've ditched, I don't know if I said this in the bit that's missing or not. I ditched all my like absolutely crackers rotation stuff. That I was doing at the beginning. If you remember that, like, fair play to you, because it didn't make sense to me. So, like, stop doing WIP Go, I've stopped doing everything. I'm in, like, full Swee-Wee territory, but I am still playing my Discord Monopoly game, because it doesn't come up very often, and you only have to do, like, 500 stitches, so it's not, it doesn't interfere. But I think I got this out for that, and this is what I am. Love it. Love it, love it. It's on a 40 count in something. 40 count light sand, again by Northumberland Sampler House, I think. And again with the called for DMC. What's that? Still no 471. Hello 471, where are you? I will find it, I will find it. Anyway, so that's that. You can tell I've been going on too long, so now I'm just whizzing through these. Oh, the patterns by the Artsy Housewife. I'm doing a very bad job now. Right, last one. I'm not going to show you the knitting. Right, last thing I have been stitching on is in this Ness's Craft Room project bag, and this was my new start this year. And it's by Kathy Barrick, and it's called Amelia Prescott. But it has a long title. I've just called it Amelia Prescott, but the full title is Amelia Prescott and How Her Parents Did Educate Her. And it's this big multiplication table. Now this year at school, I haven't put that pattern away. Oh, it's going to be a disaster. This year at school, I've been teaching year 4, or teaching assistanting in year 4. And for anyone that is familiar with the UK schooling system, in year 4, all children have to sit a statutory multiplication screener where they have to answer, is it 25 questions? 25 questions, randomly generated times tables. Anyway, so it felt appropriate this year to start this for my new year, new start. And I've been stitching away at her. Here's where I am. Ah, so happy, I'm so happy. I finished this multiplication square in the middle. Finished that alphabet at the top, which is all eyelets. And I started doing this multiplication table about 2 weeks ago, the actual table bit. And I thought, you know, I'm just going to have to gangbuster this, which is partly why the birth sampler doesn't have a name on it yet. Because I thought if I stop whilst I'm doing this, there's a fair old chance I may never pick it up again. I just need to blast it in one go, and I've just solidly, I haven't stitched anything else for about the last 2.5 weeks, and I just absolutely blasted through that. And it's done, which I'm thrilled about. And now I feel I can put it down for a little while and go and do something else. But I do love it. And now I've just got fun bits left to do. I've just got houses and animals and vases. Got rid of that horrible face in the sun, which makes me happy because I hate faces in suns. Yeah, thrilled. This is on a 36 count fibre on a whim in the colour stone, and again it is with the called for DMC. Thrilled. But yeah, was a labour of love, but I think it looks fantastic, and it's done. And now I can just do the nice bits around the side. So that is everything I have been stitching on since I last saw you. This is why I need to do these more often, because that is, I mean, that's just taken a ridiculous amount of time, hasn't it? And it's not even a WIP parade. It might as well be. What else have I got to say? Not a lot. I mean, what can I have left to say? I did bring one thing to show you. So I was watching Sarah from Penelope's Pocket the other week. I haven't been watching a lot of Flosstube, but I did watch how I've started to get back into it again. And she happened to show this, like form a finish. And she's actually FFO'd hers because, you know, it's Sarah and she does stuff like that. But I thought, given she'd showed hers, and she mentioned that she gifted the chart to me after she'd finished, so I thought I would show mine. And this is my version of what Sarah showed. So this is a la-di-da chart. I think it was called Quaker Alphabet? Quaker something, anyway. I stitched mine in sulky. 2 colours of sulky, 2 blues. And I do love it. And I remember that when I had finished with the pattern, I asked Sarah, I finished it in 2023, look, I have signatured and dated it there. I asked Sarah if I could use the pattern for a giveaway, which I did at some point in 2023, I guess. So I don't have the pattern anymore. I think it was won by someone in Alaska. It might be in Alaska, I don't know. There we go. So that is my version of this pattern, finished, and I'm going to challenge myself to FFO it, Sarah. So there we go. So I've been watching Sarah, I've watched Roz, I've watched Sally, Flossie Sews and Grows, and I've watched a new to me person, let me find her, who I really, really enjoyed. She's in Wales. What are you called? She's called Nikki, I think. Bear with me. new to me, but probably not to you. And can I find her now? Oh, of course not. She's called Nikki. Is that her channel name? Nikki Nax Papercrafts. Is that her? Hold on. Shh, shh, shh. Yeah, Nikki Nax Papercrafts. Oh no, Nikki Nax Cross Stitch and Crafts. Nikki Nax Cross Stitch and Crafts. And I watched her WIP parade. I really enjoyed that, and I'll definitely be back for some more viewing. So really enjoyed her content. That's about it today. I was going to talk to you about something else as well, but I think just timing has got away from me. And as I say, we are going out in about an hour. Didn't expect it to take so long. I was going to potentially... Roz has a section on her channel. She doesn't do it every time. I love Roz and Sarah's channel because they're not just cross stitch and they talk about all kinds of different things. And Roz sometimes has a section called Thinky Thoughts. And she, you know, has some really like interesting thoughts. And I don't think I do. So mine was going to be called Muddled Musings. Anyway, if you would like to hear some muddled musings, let me know. If you've managed to get this far into what has been fairly muddled musings so far. But if you'd like a more formal muddled musings, do let me know in the comments, and I will include my muddled musing in next time. And I hope to be back in a couple of weeks. And until then, see you later, Flosstube. Bye.